right, so first of all, I just want to mention how honored I am to address you all today on one of the most important milestones of our lives. I'd like to thank our wonderful faculty who have provided us with the knowledge and the mentorship necessary to help us achieve our goals. And most importantly, I'd like to thank the families and loved ones who supported us unconditionally throughout this long and arduous journey and have traveled to join us here today. And speaking of family, I'd like to say hi to my parents who didn't know I'd be up here today. So, surprise! Just over 4 years ago, when I crossed that blue bridge on Mare Island for the first time, I remember thinking I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. And I'm sure most of us went through it, faculty, students, and visitors alike. And despite what our instincts told us, a college did in fact exist somewhere past the abandoned barracks, warehouses, and bomb shelters. In a way, that first trip was a metaphor for what pharmacy school would be like. It wouldn't always be pretty, but we would eventually get to our destination. So about 100 of us came together in Lander Hall 160 from different educational backgrounds and life experiences, with the dream of one day sitting amongst our families and loved ones here, dressed like wizards, as doctors of pharmacy, and to serve our communities by ensuring the safe and effective use of medications. Little did we know that over the next 2 years of didactic education, we would be poring over treatment guidelines for conditions such as hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and diabetes, while hypocritically surviving on caffeine, Baldos, and that fun place on Sonoma that everyone goes to. So our class is actually divided into sections, each of which developed its own personality by our P2 year. And I'm going to go ahead and try to compare them to the vital organs that make up our student body. So section 1, they were very quiet and learning. So I would compare them to the spleen, quietly doing its job, but never really getting the recognition it quite deserves. Section 2 was serious and studious. So obviously, they're the brain. Section 3, they were the friendliest people in the class, so let's call them the heart. And section 4 was the section I sat in. Loud. Outspoken. And occasionally obnoxious. The genitals. So in case there's some family members out there wondering where their loved ones sat, they sat in section 2, definitely not section 4. So while physically our sections were separated by aisles, there was one thing that united us all. It was our circulatory system, our lifeblood, our source of nourishment and encouragement. And that was G-Chat. So we could have 10 chat boxes open, Facebook, online shopping. A professor walking by, a nudge from your neighbor told you, it's time to alt-tab. Vigorous note-taking. After 48 block exams, 4 TJEs, and countless quizzes and presentations, we were ready for rotations, or so we thought. You see, it's easy to work up patients that only exist on paper and our imaginations. Suddenly things got real. The life stories of patients extended beyond details recorded in medical records, and the consequences of mistakes could potentially be a matter of life and death. In addition to that, journal clubs, presentations, and other projects on top of getting back to preceptors between brilliance. We learned and endured a lot, but part of what kept us going was the fact that we supported each other with every step, stumble, and tear that was shed. Although we were separated by greater distances geographically, in many ways we grew closer, comforted by knowing we weren't alone and that we were in it together. It's hard to believe that Touro University's College of Pharmacy matriculated its first class just 7 years ago. And we should be proud of the fact that in that short time, our young program has achieved a great deal. We've won multiple state competitions in patient counseling and clinical skills. We've won the Quiz Bowl in 3 out of the last 4 years. Our student organizations have been recognized at the national level, and we've had articles published in highly respected peer-reviewed journals and industry periodicals. And one reason we've been able to achieve so much in a short time is simple. We're awesome. But another reason is we're fortunate in having a faculty that takes our feedback seriously and uses it to continue honing a truly innovative curriculum that seeks to promote excellence both academically and professionally. But that's only part of the story. See, the truth is, I think what really drives our success is that we're underdogs. While other pharmacy programs have had decades to forge their legacy, ours is only beginning. And I feel that we have the responsibility to take part in that, so that 10, 15, or 20 years down the line, when a student, patient, or colleague asks us where we went to pharmacy school, I have no doubt that when we say Touro University, we'll say that with pride, as we have contributed and will continue to contribute to an ongoing legacy of excellence. Now, as we graduate today, we cross yet another bridge in our lives. And this is the one that not only gets us off of Mare Island, but also the one that separates us from being students to full-fledged, real-life, and soon-to-be licensed pharmacists. The masochists among us will continue our training through residency or fellowship programs, because 11 rotations just wasn't enough. Others who are obviously a little bit more savvy in matters of personal finance will begin working in communities right away. But regardless of whatever direction we choose to go, let's cherish the moments we shared together, dedicate ourselves to not only lifelong learning, but also the lifelong bonds we've established with each other, and look forward to celebrating our successes on the other side. See you there. Cheers. Woo!